So you're looking for a house and you find out it has solar. What does that mean? You think it's good because maybe you'll get a lower electricity rate, but you might be afraid that maybe it means you have a big lease payment. These are really important questions, and if you're buying a house that has solar, you really need to look very carefully at the situation, the lease, the power purchase agreement, all of the details. So I'm going to go over the 3 ways that solar is typically put on. Number 1, the best case scenario, which we would all love. The seller has purchased the solar panels outright. That means they do have to maintain them, but they keep all of the energy they create. They don't have a payment to anybody for those panels or that energy. That is the be-all, end-all. That's what we would all love. However, that's not the most common. So the most common that I see are either a lease or a power purchase agreement. So I'm going to go over those 2 and explain them to you. So a lease is just what you think. It's rent. You're renting the equipment. So whoever the company is that's putting the solar on is making an agreement with you that you will make payments on a monthly basis for whatever period of time, 20, 25 years. They will maintain the equipment, you will make the payments, you will get the energy created based on that. However, there is a little bit of a catch. So usually the payments start at an attractive rate. I'm just going to throw out a number, maybe $150 a month. I've seen them go as high as $350 a month. Now, if you're using so much electricity that $350 a month lease payment makes it worth it, great. But if you are not producing enough electricity or energy that will kind of zero you out, you could end up paying that $350 lease payment plus an additional who knows how much to your utility company. So leases can be tricky because it's a fixed number, although it does usually escalate, but it's a monthly cost that does not vary based on your usage or your energy production. So you really have to look at how much energy is this system going to produce? Is it worth it to me based on this lease payment? The third is what they call a power purchase agreement. That means the solar company is putting the panels up, they maintain them. You are agreeing to buy all the power you create from your system from that solar company. So that means, say it's July and you create X number of kilowatt hours, you pay the solar company based on that. So maybe you pay them $300 that month because you generated $300 worth of electricity based on that kilowatt hour rate that you've agreed on with them. Those rates also I typically see start at an attractive number, which is typically lower than the utility charges, but many of them have an escalation per year. I've seen pretty commonly somewhere between 2 and 3% they'll escalate. So in other words, the rate you're paying per kilowatt hour goes up every year, which is fine. If you're still lower than the utility is charging you, good. Those are all very important factors. What is your lease payment? What is your rate per kilowatt hour? Does it make sense? Is the system big enough to create enough energy to make it worth it to you? Another thing that people probably don't understand, and I hope I can simplify it, what is this true-up charge? So the true-up charge at the end of the year or in the middle of the billing cycle, whenever the utility company decides is appropriate based on when you probably took ownership. The difference between how much energy you created and how much you used. If you use more than you created, you've got to pay to make it even. So that's the true-up charge. So whatever is the difference, you pay to the utility company. So your goal would be to have a big enough system or the most adequate system where you just zero it out. Say you're doing a power purchase agreement, you've paid them for your electricity, you pay the minimum charge to the utility for the use of their lines, and at the end of the year, you're straight even. So those are the 3 ways that power solar is typically handled. It's valuable if it's a good agreement, if it's a good negotiation, but it can also be detrimental. So very important to look at and make sure it's worth it to you before you buy that house.
I'm Melanie Webb with Ellington Properties. I've been working with buyers and sellers in Placer and Sacramento counties for the past 35 years. If this information has been helpful to you, please stay tuned and watch some of our other videos. Our whole goal is to be a resource to you in all things real estate.